Give a smart woman a library and then stand back. And today, Jen and I are discussing the Deliciously Dark Fairytales. And that quote is from Book 2, A Throne of Ruin. Who wants to start?
I think you should.
So the first time the first time I read this book was a minute ago, and it was for book club. And I did not like it. I don't know what kind of mood I was in. And it wasn't until recently that Jenna's like, "Have you finished it?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "I can't understand why not. There are dragons." And I'm like, "How the fuck did I miss there were dragons in this series?"
Wait, you didn't know that there were dragons?
I totally missed that in the first book. I listened to
Oh
the
my
first book on
god.
audio when we did it for book club, so I was probably only half paying attention. But until you mentioned it
That's fair.
recently, I had no idea there were dragons.
That's
It's a Beauty
fair.
and the Beast retelling.
It is.
Where in the fuck do dragons come from in Beauty and the Beast?
I mean, it's a loose Beauty and the Beast retelling.
I mean, I wouldn't even yeah, I would say loosely.
Yeah, very
But
loosey
I never
goosey.
made that connection. So I reread the first book.
Yeah.
And then I read the other 4 or 3. And here we
Yeah.
are.
And here
And I
we
have
are.
to say that the butler is my favorite.
He's the best, isn't he? I love him so much. He's so fantastic.
He carried like the whole series.
Yeah, him and the sexy lady.
Yeah, don't ask me what her
With the
name
whip.
is.
Huh?
I have no idea what her name is.
Oh, I know. I can't remember her name either.
I
Because
can't tell you
I read
anybody's
this
name.
series. Hold on. Let's see how far ago did I read this series? I don't think that's the correct way to say that, but whatever. How far ago? How
Long ago?
long ago? There it is.
Yeah, see? We're in a twilight
Sorry.
zone. I don't get words right. You get the words right. There's a glitch in the
Wow.
system.
Yeah, it feels like there's a glitch in the system. I wish I knew in what order I read this. Like, is this going? Oh, details. Nope. Oh, look. Okay, so I read this at the tail end of. No, not the tail end. Like the middle of 2022. So it's been 2 years since I've read this series. Did not realize it had been that long.
Do you remember enough to talk about it? I guess we should have thought about that before we started recording.
Yeah, May 19th is when I read this. I read the first book, so it really has been like, it's actually been over 2 years. Yeah, I think I remember enough. I think as we talk about it, I'll probably remember enough as we go.
And I just read it like 2 months ago and I can barely remember.
Oh, Jesus, criminy. Well, this will be interesting.
So, she's a self-made healer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a disease because there's a curse from the Demon King.
Because there's always a curse.
I mean, you can't have a fantasy novel without a curse, right?
Apparently.
Or at least curse or court in the title somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
the prince is also, I think there's like 2 curses. There's like the curse of the people and then like the curse of the castle.
Yeah.
And they're fated mates. They're dragons.
Yep.
There's a segregation of species.
Mm-hmm.
The Demon
That's
King's
one thing
evil.
That's one thing I really, really enjoyed about this series is this was only like 18 months into my reigniting of book reading and like loving books, and like that's what I spent all my time doing, was reading. And like her series was the first series that felt like a different type of fantasy series from ACOTAR. Like it wasn't a fantasy series that was trying to be ACOTAR. And like you had all the mixed, like all the different species, and it was set up so well. And that's one thing that like I remember thinking at the time. I really love that it's not like, okay, you have fae and human, or you have like demons and human. It was like you have demons, fae, humans shifters.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they called them in yeah. So like you
I don't
had
know
like
what they called them in the book, but that's what they're fucking called.
well, yeah, that's what they are. And I really liked that setup in this series.
Yes, it was nice to have multiple species.
Yeah.
And then there was not a conversion, a convoy of dragons. They broke the curse, and then there was a couple of
Mm-hmm.
battles, and then they lived happily ever after.
I think what I've heard people struggle with so much with this series is there's so much like humor, and it's not hyperbole because it's in her world. It's just like this dramatization of what a fantasy novel is
Like
what
it's
it
a
feels like to
parody.
me. Yes. Yeah. Like whenever I recommend this and somebody's like, "Ooh, it's fantasy," I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. This isn't fantasy you take seriously. This is
Mm-hmm.
fantasy that you go in and you're just wanting to have a good time. This is a series that you do not take seriously."
Okay. Well, now that you've thrown in that caveat, it completely changes it because I thought that it was too long.
Mm-hmm.
They drug it way too out. I almost felt like she just kept on throwing obstacle after obstacle just to fill the pages. Like,
Yeah.
we could have just kept the curse in, like, the one battle. Oh my gosh. The worst thing. She's so glad that didn't happen at the very end of the book, the series, but it happened towards the end when she killed her brother. Let me tell you something. I had PTSD from the High Mountain Core, okay? Because I was furious when I got to that part in the book, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. That was not something that I foreshadowed. I mean, I knew like people had to like die and such,
Yeah.
but I was like unnecessary death for no reason. There's no validation. But then she made it a reason, so then I was fine with it. But if she hadn't made it a reason, 0 stars.
I had a feeling that he was a phoenix, like leading up to that happening. I can't remember why I had a feeling that that was the case because it's been too long, but I do remember thinking like, that's interesting. And then the one girl that he like sidles up to at one point in the
The
series, like she's a
basilisk.
yeah, the basilisk. However you say it, I can't ever say it. I was really hoping they would have a spin-off, but I haven't seen anything.
There is a spin-off, but it's not them.
I have biscuits. Who is it?
It's Weston. The
Alpha Wolf?
uh-huh. Which,
Hmm.
side note, listeners, I was texting Jen on Foxer as I was reading this, or we were talking, or maybe we jumped on a Zoom call. I don't know. And she had hinted because I was like, "Oh, I really like him because somebody's got to die." I was like, "If he dies, I'm gonna be really upset." And she made a face, and I was like, "Motherfucker, if he dies, I'm really done with this series." She almost stopped me from finishing it with that face.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
and I was like, "He didn't die." Thank the Lord. So yeah,
No, you said, yeah, I can't remember what you said
I think I
at the
said him
time
or
of
the
my,
brother.
hmm.
I just
I
know.
feel like my face wasn't in regards to him dying. It was in regards to him, like, I think my face was more like I knew he was kind of falling for the main female character. And then there's like this whole scuffle with between him and the
No, no,
main
no,
male
no, no.
character.
That's a different dragon, not Weston the wolf.
I thought Weston had like a crush on her.
Uh-uh.
No?
So
Okay.
when she gets trapped with the demon king in his prison,
Mm-hmm.
there are all the
Yeah.
other dragons, but then there's the head for the wolf shifters, and then there's the head lady for the fae that are trapped there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the dude from the shifters is Weston. At least I think that's what his name is. You're asking the wrong
Yeah. I'm
person,
pretty
but that's what I'm calling him. It's either
I'm pretty
Weston
sure
or
you're right.
Michael, or maybe it's Michael Weston, or no, that's Bird Notice. I'm pretty sure that's Bird Notice.
Oh my god.
which is probably why I like him. I don't know.
Probably. I really liked him.
Yeah, no, there is a wolf, not a wolf, a dragon, the alpha drac, Mecca, Micha, I think.
Sure.
Mich. He wants whatever the main chick's name is.
Mm.
I don't even
I
know.
vaguely remember that.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, me neither.
I just Weston. That tells you a lot.
There you go. So, what was your favorite aspect of this series?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think there were a lot of little things,
Mm-hmm.
which is what helped me read it. The humor really helped because, again, I thought it was way too long. I didn't think it needed to be 4 books.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked there were dragons.
And he was a really pretty dragon. I remember her being really pretty too.
Yeah, she was red and gold, I think. I think kind of like what you said, like the mixture of creatures and species. The fact that it's supposed to be a parody makes more sense now, which makes it more enjoyable because I'm trying to take it as a serious. And I mean, it still
Well, I
was
don't know if it was
serious.
supposed to be a parody, but that's how I read it.
Yeah. I think that I probably have more. I don't know. It was okay. I don't like that it's considered a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I think they need to lose that. I mean, like, I kind of get that in the beginning, but after the first book,
Yeah, it has like there's no real
there's
parallels.
nothing. I liked that they were fated mates. I like that they grew together in their power and made change together.
Yeah.
I like how they balanced each other. Not balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like two sides of the same coin almost, but still different because she always jumps into things head first. Like
Yeah.
she did that quite a bit, which is really annoying. Like you're so
Mm-hmm.
close to being the too stupid to live main female character. Like I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
I like that she was able to rally troops by being herself.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the demons were really cute. The guards that helped her, I liked them.
Yeah, they were really cute.
The Fey King's an idiot.
Yeah.
I had issues with the mom
Yeah, the mom was
because she left for 20
interesting.
years and then came back, and then everybody just forgave her, and I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she was just living her life as her son, is cursed and slowly being tortured. I hate parents like that.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing else. There's not one thing that
Really stuck out.
mm dragons.
Dragons. Fair. Okay. So on the darkness scale, where do you think it hits?
A 2.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's only because
Agreed.
they're shifters.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be
Agreed.
2. I
Yeah.
mean, you could. It has to be a 2 also because of the dungeon scenes. Even though he was using their bond to make her pleasure when she was being tortured, there's still a little bit. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
say
was
2.
yeah. Yeah, there were definitely a couple of those scenes that really sucked.
Now it sounds like it's
Okay.
raining. Is it raining on your
No.
end? Okay, it went away. It was like a rain stick almost.
Huh. Weird. Okay, so spicy?
I feel like you have to give it a 4.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like there's so much that happens.
It's mostly because of the sex parties. Like you have to give it a 4 because they're
Yes.
doing weird shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Yeah.
weird's on our scale.
It's a 4 simply because of the group parties, not necessarily because of the spice involved between the main characters.
Yes, although they did have some good spice. So,
They did have some good spice, yeah. So I think 4 is a fair rating.
yeah, I would give it 4.
And I really like the way she built the tension between the two of them leading up.
Yes. Their banter too was really good.
Yeah.
All the banter was really good. The sibling, even the the enemies, like she did a really good job of the banter and like the secondary characters.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of my that's like one of my favorite things about the little that I have read of KF Breene is she does such a great job of creating such unique and fun side characters. Like you are invested in the story, you stay invested because you're also just as interested in what's going on with the other people in the story.
Yep. That's gonna be a clip. No sound from Jen, just the face expressions.
I had like this huge sneeze built up and then it just died. It's like
It
a
died
ruined orgasm. It's
it
terrible.
oh my god. I was gonna say it died mid-huff, but that works too.
Ugh.
This is how we
So
are at 6
frustrating.
o'clock in the morning. Or what time
Yeah.
is it now? 6:30.
Yeah. Okay, so Spicy 4, Darkness 2, overall, what do you rate the series?
I'd give it like a 2 or a 3. I would say 3 because I would
You would
yeah,
recommend
3.
it under the right circumstances.
I had to think, yes. I'd say 3. The whole series overall is a 3.
I think at the time I rated it 4 or 5. I would probably stick with a 4 overall now just because I've read so much more since then.
Mm-hmm.
But even 2 years later, I just remember, first of all, devouring the series, and second of all, having so much fun while reading the series. Like, it was just so funny. So, I'm going to stick with the 4.
I'll give you that.
But yeah,
It's
that's whenever I recommend this, it's like, okay, go into this book like just expecting to have fun. Like don't take
yeah.
it seriously. It's not a high stakes fantasy. It's just lots of fun.
I think that's a great way to explain it.
Awesome.
It's your favorite part,
Okay.
Jen?
It is. It's your favorite part.
I'm trying to manifest that you also enjoy it so I don't ever have to do it again. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't bother me none. All right, y'all. We are all wrapped up for today's episode. Have you read the Deliciously Dark Fairytales series by KF Breene or any other series of KF Breene? We would love to hear from you. Tag us in your Instagram stories at Bones of the Story on Instagram, obviously, because I said that once. And I hope you will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
And Jen,
signing off
from Bones of the Story.